Films are pretty old, even older than the bad guy of video games, and the bad guy from World War II. But what is the greatest movie ever made? There is no answer to this question, because what makes a movie good? You may say acting.
It's a lot. Sometimes we'd spin too.
Story.
I'm going to continue hacking into these government systems to see what I can find out about all this national and internet
Editing. Soundtrack. For all of these, most movies come out of the United States, but there are a few markets where movies are booming. China, with its 1 billion people, have been making many movies over the past few years, like Wolf Warrior 2, which is propaganda. The tagline of this movie is, "Anyone who offends China, no matter how remote, must be exterminated." India is also booming with Bollywood, which I can make an entire video about. But one area of the world where many people don't really focus on is Africa. But today, we're going to talk about Hollywood, which is named after a slum in the capital of Uganda, Kampala. As of recording, there's only one movie studio, Raman Film Productions, which is led by Isaac Godfrey Jeffrey Nablana, who grew a love of movies when he was a child, where his older brothers would tell him about Bruce Lee films and American action movies they saw in the movie theater. Later in life, Nablana would get a job as a bricklayer where he could save up enough money to make his own movies. He made a few films no one cares about, but the first movie he made that made Hollywood famous is Who Killed Captain Alex, Uganda's first action movie. This movie is unironically amazing. The film was made for a small budget of $200. I was planning on describing the entire plot of the movie, but the issue is the plot is kinda hard to follow, to say the least. The movie cuts from scene to scene with narration that adds humor and makes the plot slightly less confusing, so instead of an in-depth description in the movie, I will give you the plot from what I can comprehend.
Who killed the Captain Alexei? The Ugandan first action-packed movie. Who killed the Captain Alexei?
So there's this guy called Captain Alex who was directly hired by the Ugandan president to get rid of Tiger Mafia, the most deadly gang in Uganda. So basically, Captain Alex and a few other soldiers are resting in this village, but a confrontation leads to a bar fight between the military and the residents of the village.
That's my wife! Get off my wife! Wife? I thought that is a god! Hello! Combat! Who you?
Then it cuts to the first action scene, which is pretty good. We get this part, which I really like.
Tiger Mafia! Super kicker! What's happening? Around!
Here, we also learn that all Ugandans are knowledgeable in Kung Fu.
This is serious! Everybody in Uganda knows Kung Fu!
Then after that scene, it cuts to the leader of Tiger Mafia.
I don't want burglars to find it.
You shouldn't hide it there.
Who gets mad that his NFT was screenshotted and that his brother was arrested. Then he says this line. Then Captain Alex gets murdered. Then his brother shows up, who according to the movie is Ugandan Bruce Lee, or as they put it, Bruce U.
Ugandan Bruce Lee. We call him Bruce U.
Then Bruce Yu goes to the Ugandan Shaolin Temple to meet the master, who tells him not to take revenge. Then he wakes up in the woods and trains. Then to replace Captain Alex, they hire this guy who has an interesting description.
He fights drugs and uses drugs.
Then Tiger Mafia steals a helicopter and blows up Kampala. Then there's a battle between the government and Tiger Mafia. Then they arrest the leader of Tiger Mafia. Then it cuts to some government man calling a minister. Fun little fact, the footage the guy is watching is actual riot footage from Uganda. So that's basically the whole plot of the movie. The movie story isn't that good, but I still love it. In a world where movies are mindless cash grabs and pointless sequels, it's always great to see a movie that's made out of passion. They really enjoyed making it, which is something not many people can say. Movie 10 out of 10. Hopefully the sequel is good. Bye!